What's up, everybody? Happy New Year. It's Alfred. I'm back with another video. First video of the year, but definitely not the first session of the year. I just wrapped up a test stream actually. I played for like 1 hour on Twitch. If you want to see that recording, should be up for a little bit. I'll link the Twitch channel in the description, but if you're interested, I can upload the whole session on YouTube. Just was playing 25 NL, ran extremely hot. I'm just trying to get used to streaming again or try to get into it. It's just so hard to focus because I'm constantly looking at the other monitor, trying to see my stats and stuff, and then other than that, hope everyone's holidays were well. Hopefully everyone had a really good Christmas, Unfortunately, I was just sick the entire time, so I couldn't really do anything. But yep, let's hope to get some interesting spots here. Almost went for a min raise. I've been using the min raise strategy in 25 and now. Pretty much a high frequency bet here. But I just gonna check call this one. He will have hands like 8s, 9s that will dominate us. Kind of alarming, how big his sizing is here, eh? It's a paired board. Either way, we can't really fold. It's just very alarming how big his sizing is. Just another check. I'm actually not sure how many big sizings he's supposed to have here, but generally when it's a paired board, you kind of just want to be betting small, just a lot of air. Here we can just call maybe 20% of the time. So this time I'm not gonna call. It's very, very aggressive here. He can have a lot of 7x here. Sometimes he has ace-7 suited, 6-7 suited. So I'm pretty just comfortable folding out of position. And against here, this is kind of weird because this is supposed to be a range bet board for him, where he's just supposed to be betting his range full frequency. When he checks though, I'll take the free card. I went for a c-bet here into 2 people. He snap calls, which is pretty alarming. Now he's just going to bet small in this turn. I'm not really sure what this means. So with the king 6, I'm going to keep barreling here, try to fold out his 3-4, and we just have pretty easy showdown value. When it goes check check, we have a small bet on the turn. I think we just have a pretty straightforward call. And I think this was pretty much a mistake here, just because we're blocking all his continuing range. He most likely has a queen X here. When we block 5-6, it's basically just he kind of has to have a queen here. So I think we should just check the turn. I'm gonna be calling the river here. An interesting check. So already we're getting wrecked. And just going to be folding the ace-jack here. No point in continuing against that raise. Very interesting to see that he did check there, though. I think you just lose way too much value against something like king queen, king jack, king 10 suited. Because once you get on this turn, right, I'm never raising my king 10, king jack on the river, so you just basically don't play for stacks. This is just a slam dunk range bet board. It's gonna be a slam dunk 4 bet now. Gonna be folding here a bit tight. Got another 3 bet here. a bit uncomfortable just because this guy is a shorter stack. And I think we just have an easy like small c-bet here and just start giving up on turns and give up against raises. This guy's tanking. I haven't seen like the tank jam in a while. He probably has something like 8s or 9s or something. It's like, do I call? Do I call? Gotta do the RNG thing, you know? Already starting the year out with a few mistakes. That queen 8 hand is like bothering me. Probably should just realize equity on that turn. We have a limp pot here. I think I'm just gonna be betting like one big blind and trying to get to showdown. And here with like the back doors and the bottom pair, I think it's just gonna be one of my bluffs here. We'll continue barreling on like cards like this. I'm actually not entirely sure actually. This should be a spot where like, this definitely should be a spot that I should be studying, you know? We'll open here, we'll bet small here, but I think we just go for like this. I don't know, I'm just playing it by ear now. On this turn, I feel like we can have some overbets. And we can have some like normal size bets. I think I'm just gonna go for this normal like big size. I think I just go for like this small bet here. On the river, I'm targeting like another 4. He's just not calling, so. But he most likely has like a 10, just the way he's calling. And I'm not gonna call a min raise here just because we get dominated easily multi-way. I was supposed to tag that hand. Review, and on the river, do we bluff against like a 10? Probably not. Let's see what he had. He had pocket deuces, so. For this one, it's like, I don't mind like barreling this hand. But our sizing is probably wrong on the turn. Like we probably want to be more polarized, like something like pot would work better maybe. So if we're betting like our ace jack off or our jack X for like pot, then hands like this will be our natural bluffs. That's what I think. So I just instinctively went for the min raise strategy here, just because it came off playing 25 NL. And multi-way, it is a bit alarming. Like they could have jack 10 suited, like some jack 10 suited, some king queen, king jack. But you know, I think multi-way, we just gotta protect our hand. And sometimes people just call way too wide. Okay, now we get into this turn, which is like a complete blank. We are blocking like the nuts. I did it again, sorry. But I think here I'm just gonna, he shouldn't have too many flush draws. On the river, I just don't think we get called by worse here. It's not like, I think our best bet is just to check here. I don't think when we bet, like, we'll get called by worse. And yeah, like we're not getting value from that anyways, so I think I'd just rather put this hand into like the check calling range. Just gonna try and check this one down. And against like a weaker player, I'm just going for like a half pot bet here. We see a lead here. Pretty alarming. We'll just go for the call. Turn an open ender, but the flush does come in. Starts betting pot. my experience, people do lead like their flush draws a lot more. And a hand that could be already be dead, you know, like if he's leading something like Jack 9, like our 10 isn't good. So just gonna fold here. Like pot size bet is way too big to be calling. Pocket jacks here, we are a bit deep. Nonetheless, I will be 3-betting this. And here we go. So on this flop, he just snap calls. It's nice that we're blocking the king jack that call us. I think I'm just gonna simplify and bet half pot here. Especially having like the club is also a great card to have. Makes it a pretty easy bet. Probably should be looking at this spot more though. Button versus big blind versus early position open, like a 3-bet pot. Just gonna be betting here, high frequency. And we do get check raise, so pretty easy decision there. Probably should be reviewing this spot as well. Fortunately, just lost a hand. I will be calling the king 10 off here. Pretty nice flop. And I think on this turn, and like most rivers, we just block. And maybe on like a 5 flush board, we just overbet on the river. That kind of stuff. It's pretty simple strategy. Flop, top pair multi-way, and we do see a block bet. Yeah, I don't have any reads on this guy, so I'm just going to treat it like a check. Like, pretend like this one big blind's part of the pot and pick a sizing. 4-5 gets there. Still think that he could be blocking something like 8-9, which is like pretty common. Something like 8-9, something like 7x. So I'm just going to keep treating it like a check. Just suck that 4-5 gets there, though. Flop the nuts on board 2, and on this board, we can pretty much just bet big all the time. Just a really good board for me. Just a range bet, big bet. And just checking the deuce down, trying to get this to showdown. Pretty much a scare card for him, right? Either way, we still keep betting big. Just the thing is, we have like 0 bluffs here. If we think about like the way our hand's playing, and like if it's like a thinking player or something, like he should like be very cautious here, because we just never have any bluffs. That's just the way the pool plays. For betting the queens and just getting it in all the time. Yeah, it's just very hard to balance this spot, I think. Maybe our bluffs come mainly from like 8-9 suited. That's pretty much it. Or if we do start barreling like this, we just basically have to barrel all our small pocket pairs like 7s, 8s. Pretty nice flop here for my hand. And pretty good for my range too. I guess a small bet. We can look to raise sometimes. Especially with like the backdoors here. We do turn off straight, but the flush comes in, so it doesn't really mean much. I guess for one big blind, we can just call. And yeah, we'll call the min click. And we'll just start giving up our 5-7 here. He had 8s. So we win that one. And now we're in this like uncomfortable spot here. What a pure river that is. I'm not gonna look to raise here just because this is such a weird hand. Like, yeah. And if he bombs this river, believe it or not, I will be folding here. Just because, like, there aren't many bluffs. He just min-clicked pre. So he could have been, like, block betting, like, his queens. He never bets the size with, like, kings. So it's basically just pure value here. Yeah, we have no reads on this guy. It mainly looks like he has, like, aces here. Jacks, that kind of stuff. Trying to induce me. Yeah, I don't know. If you play micro stakes, you'd get what you pretty much understand what I mean, right? Like, I'd just be surprised if that was anything except value. He doesn't have to go that size with his bluffs either. So, like, if he's bluffing with, like, some random hand, like, you don't need to go pot. You can just take a normal sizing. And this line just seems way too nutted, so. I'm not sure if King 8 suited from middle position is a loose open in these stakes. But we do get a call here. Important to note that the cutoff here does have like 5-6s here. But I feel like he's just calling very wide, so he'll also have hands like Queen 10, 9-10, stuff like that. Some weird like Ace X. Now he's raising, so he could have something like the sets and basically like Ace Jack, King Jack, Queen Jack. I think this turn was check jamming. We have some pretty good equity against like all his hands. So, yep. And if he does magically have a bluff, yeah. So pretty good equity against that hand. And unfortunately, we don't hit it this time. But our read was correct. He basically just has like those nutted hands. Either way, I don't think it's wrong to be check jamming there. Multi-way will just play very passive, especially on this board. And we just fold here, especially with these callers behind. And just gonna go for a small bet here. Can go for like a check raise as well. And just gonna be check calling on board 1. Pretty alarming. Still undeterred whatsoever. So he can have hands like, we pick up like additional equity on the turn. So he can have hands like 9-10 suited, 8-9 suited. Mainly his like nutted hands are mainly just Queen X here. And 9s, of course. Still think we benefit a lot from folding out his like middling range. Like he has like 8s with a spade that peel, 7s with a spade that peel. Stuff like that. Could 3-bet this against a reg. I'm not going to do it. Just because he'll know what he's doing post-flop. Pretty nice flop from my exact hand. And it's a good hand for a good flop for my range. So I'm just going to bet it. And just going to be betting here. He snap calls. Guess you can have like some king queen X, but I think that a player like this will just be calling like way too much on the flop. So just gonna barrel a second time and hope to fold out his middling hands. Jacks, jack, like any jack X here, like also some weird like ace X that floats, his small pocket pairs that feel like he has to float. I just feel that like players like that will call on the flop way too often. Okay, approaching the end of the session, 20 a chance to go, and this is like a common theme. I'm gonna call the queen eight suited here. Common theme here, we have like this nutted board, we just barrel, barrel, barrel. Kind of alarming that he does snap call, eh? But I think that we can even just polarize our hand here, start over betting. Think that if we're barreling like our ace queen, ace jack here, our king X here, we just gotta keep barreling here. It just sucks that he's snap calling, so it leads me to believe he has like a weak ace X hand. And if in order to get that to fold, we gotta be betting like some absurd sizing here. So I'm just gonna go with my read. He has a weak ace and try to put a lot of pressure on that and just basically try and get that to fold. The only way we're gonna get that to fold is like a really big sizing like this. And our hand's like more of our like natural bluff that we can come up with. If we want to stay balanced in like the spot in the future, we're just gonna have to keep blasting off with this hand. Pocket aces, just as the leaderboard ends. Jack 10 suited will be a 3-bet. I guess we'll call for the video. Pocket sixes, but I really don't advise it, just because like the rake's super high. And just like that, we get all folds with the aces. We'll call a 4-bet here. And he's bidding pretty big into two people, so I'm just gonna let this one go. Anything that looks playable will open, just because it's the end of the video. And I'll pull up the 10 and L for the graph for today. Folds, folds, folds. Yeah, this looks playable. Oops, that's my 25 and L. Yeah, and we're down like half a buy-in, but you know, we just ran a bit bad here. That's pretty much it. So already not a good start to the year, but yeah, have a good one, guys. See you next time.